Have you ever wondered how much control you really have over your long-term health? According to the World Cancer Research Fund, at least one-third of the most common cancers could be prevented through simple lifestyle changes, and diet is one of the most powerful tools you have. What you choose to eat every day doesn't just impact your weight or energy, it can influence how your cells behave, how your immune system responds, and yes, even how your body protects itself against abnormal growth. Today, we're shining a light on 10 everyday foods that research increasingly links to a higher risk of cancer. But before you panic or start throwing everything out of your fridge, this isn't a fear-based message. We're here to help you understand why these foods raise concern, and more importantly, what healthier, delicious options you can choose instead. Because real change doesn't come from guilt or restriction, it comes from clarity and confidence. And when you're equipped with the right information, you can enjoy your meals while still protecting your body and your future. So whether you're here out of curiosity, concern, or a commitment to living better, this video is for you. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and let's dive into the truth about food and cancer, one smart choice at a time. Number 1. Processed meats. They may be the stars of weekend brunches and backyard barbecues, but behind their smoky aroma and irresistible flavor, processed meats like bacon, sausages, hot dogs, and cold cuts hide a darker truth. These convenient favorites are more than just salty indulgences, they're now considered among the most dangerous foods for your long-term health when eaten regularly. Why? It all comes down to what's inside. Processed meats are often loaded with nitrates and nitrites, chemical preservatives added to make them last longer and look more appealing. But once inside your body, these additives can convert into nitrosamines, compounds that scientists have clearly linked to cancer. In fact, the World Health Organization has officially labeled processed meats a Group 1 carcinogen, placing them in the same category as tobacco smoke and asbestos, not because they're equally dangerous, but because the evidence linking them to cancer in humans is strong and consistent. A comprehensive review by the International Agency for Research on Cancer found that just 50 grams a day, about 2 slices of bacon, can raise your risk of colorectal cancer by 18%. And it doesn't stop there. Other studies have connected processed meats to cancers of the stomach, pancreas, and even prostate. So what can you do? You don't have to say goodbye to flavor. Try replacing processed meats with fresh, unprocessed options like grilled chicken, turkey breast, or lean beef. Better yet, dive into the world of plant-based proteins, like lentils, chickpeas, tofu, or tempeh, which not only deliver the protein your body needs, but also provide gut-friendly fiber, antioxidants, and zero carcinogens. The bottom line? Every small change on your plate is a powerful step toward protecting your body. And when it comes to cancer risk, those steps are worth taking, bite by bite. 2. Sugary drinks. Coming in at number 2 on our list are sugary drinks, a category that includes sodas, sweetened teas, energy drinks, and many types of flavored beverages. These drinks are incredibly popular worldwide, but their impact on health, particularly in terms of cancer risk, is a growing concern. The primary issue with sugary drinks is their high sugar content. Consuming these beverages regularly can lead to weight gain and obesity, which are established risk factors for various types of cancer, including breast, kidney, colorectal, and esophageal cancers. Obesity can cause changes in the body, like chronic inflammation and hormone imbalances, which may, in turn, contribute to cancer development. Furthermore, the high sugar content in these drinks can lead to spikes in blood sugar and insulin levels, similar to the effects of consuming refined carbohydrates, as previously discussed. These insulin spikes can potentially aid in the growth and spread of cancer cells. For instance, a study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that higher consumption of sugary drinks was associated with an increased risk of certain types of cancer. So, what are healthier alternatives to these sugary temptations? The simplest and most beneficial swap is plain water. Water is essential for all bodily functions and helps in maintaining a healthy weight. If you find plain water too bland, you can add a splash of natural flavor with slices of fruits like lemon, lime, or cucumber, or even a few sprigs of mint. Herbal teas are another excellent option. They come in a variety of flavors, are naturally free of calories, and can be enjoyed hot or cold. Not only are they a refreshing alternative, but many herbal teas also offer health benefits, such as antioxidant properties. Lastly, naturally flavored water, like infused or sparkling water with natural flavors, can satisfy your craving for something fizzy without the added sugar. Just be sure to check the labels to ensure they don't contain added sugars or artificial sweeteners. Number 3. Overcooked or burnt foods. That smoky flavor on grilled meat or the golden crunch of toast may seem delicious, but what if that char comes with a hidden cost? Every time we cook meat until it's well done or let bread turn dark and crispy, we may be creating compounds that researchers have linked to cancer. It's not just about taste, it's about chemistry. When meat hits high heat, like on a grill or hot pan, it can produce heterocyclic amines, HCAs. And when fat drips onto the flame, causing smoke, that's where polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, PAHs, form, and both are compounds known to damage DNA. But it's not just meat. Even everyday foods like fries, toast, or roasted potatoes can form acrylamide when cooked at high temperatures for too long. According to studies published in the Journal of Agricultural and Food Chemistry, prolonged exposure to acrylamide has been linked to increased risks of cancers, particularly of the kidney, endometrium, and ovaries. So what can you do? The key isn't giving up grilled food forever, it's making smarter choices. Try cooking at lower temperatures. Steam, stew, or boil your meals more often. They preserve nutrients and don't create harmful byproducts. If you're grilling, marinate your meat with herbs and spices like rosemary or garlic. Some studies show this can cut HCAs by over 70%. Flip your meat regularly, and most importantly, cut off any blackened or charred parts before eating. And when toasting bread or roasting veggies, go for a light golden brown, not a dark crust. It's better for your health and keeps the natural flavors intact. Remember, cooking isn't just about flavor, it's about protecting your body one meal at a time. 4. Alcohol. Whether it's wine, beer, or spirits, alcohol is consumed by many without much thought about its potential long-term effects. However, when it comes to cancer risk, regular consumption of alcohol is a significant factor to consider. Alcohol consumption has been linked to an increased risk of several types of cancer, including breast, liver, colon, and throat cancer, among others. The reason behind this is multifaceted. Alcohol metabolizes in the body to acetaldehyde, a toxic chemical and a probable human carcinogen. Acetaldehyde can damage DNA and proteins, which is a key process in the development of cancer. Additionally, alcohol can impair the body's ability to absorb and use various nutrients like vitamin A, folate, and vitamin C, which are vital for preventing cell damage. The more alcohol a person drinks over time, the higher the risk of developing alcohol-associated cancer. According to research, even moderate alcohol consumption is not risk-free. For instance, a study in the British Journal of Cancer found that even low levels of drinking could increase the risk of certain cancers. So, what can you do to reduce this risk? The most effective way is to cut down on your alcohol intake or avoid it altogether. Choosing non-alcoholic drinks is not just a healthier choice for reducing cancer risk but also beneficial for overall health. There are many enjoyable and sophisticated non-alcoholic options available these days, from mocktails to non-alcoholic wines and beers. If you do choose to drink, it's recommended to limit your intake. The American Cancer Society suggests that men should have no more than 2 drinks per day and women no more than 1. Remember, a drink is defined as 12 ounces of beer, 5 ounces of wine, or 1.5 ounces of spirits. Number 5. Refined carbohydrates. They're warm, soft, and oh so satisfying, white bread, flaky pastries, salty packaged snacks. For many of us, these foods are the definition of comfort. But what if that comfort came at a hidden cost to your health? These popular favorites fall under the category of refined carbohydrates, foods that have been stripped of their natural fiber and nutrients during processing. The problem? Without fiber to slow digestion, your body breaks them down rapidly into sugar, causing sharp spikes in blood glucose. This triggers a surge of insulin, a hormone meant to regulate blood sugar, but in excess, it may do more harm than good. Researchers have found that chronically high insulin levels and insulin-like growth factors, IGFs, can create an environment where certain cancers thrive, particularly breast, colorectal, and lung cancers. A study published in Cancer Epidemiology, Biomarkers and Prevention revealed that diets high in refined carbs and glycemic load were associated with an increased risk of lung cancer, even in non-smokers. But there's good news: you don't have to give up carbs to protect your health. You just have to choose the right ones. Whole grains like oats, quinoa, brown rice, and 100% whole wheat bread are digested slowly, keeping blood sugar stable and insulin in check. They're also rich in fiber, which acts like a broom for your digestive tract, sweeping out waste and even binding to potential carcinogens, helping your body flush them out. Want even more protection? Fill your plate with colorful fruits, leafy greens, beans, and lentils, all fiber-rich, antioxidant-packed, and naturally supportive of a healthy, cancer-resistant body. When it comes to carbs, the difference between risk and resilience may be as simple as switching from white to whole. Number 6. Red meat. While a juicy steak or a hearty burger can be a mouth-watering treat, there's growing evidence that excessive consumption of red meat is linked to an increased risk of certain types of cancer, particularly colorectal cancer. Red meat, which includes beef, lamb, and pork, is a rich source of protein and essential nutrients like iron and vitamin B12. However, when consumed in large amounts, it poses health risks. Research has shown a significant link between red meat and an increased risk of colorectal cancer. For example, a major study published in the International Journal of Cancer found that high red meat intake was associated with a higher risk of developing colorectal cancer. So why does red meat have this effect? One reason is the presence of certain chemicals formed during the cooking process, especially when meat is cooked at high temperatures or until well done. These chemicals, such as heterocyclic amines, HCAs, and polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, PAHs, are known carcinogens. Another factor is the high iron content in red meat, specifically a type called heme iron, which has been suggested to promote the formation of potentially carcinogenic compounds in the body. Now, this doesn't mean you need to completely eliminate red meat from your diet. It's all about balance and moderation. One way to reduce your risk is to limit your red meat intake. The American Cancer Society, for instance, recommends choosing smaller portions and eating red meat less frequently. Another tip is to opt for leaner cuts of meat, which have less fat and may reduce the formation of harmful chemicals during cooking. Moreover, exploring plant-based proteins can be both a healthy and delicious alternative. Foods like beans, lentils, tofu, and tempeh are excellent sources of protein, and are packed with other nutrients while being low in harmful substances linked to cancer. Incorporating these into your diet not only diversifies your meal choices but also contributes to a lower cancer risk. Number 7. Trans fats. A type of fat that has been making headlines for all the wrong reasons. You'll find trans fats in various foods like certain types of margarine, fried foods, and a host of processed snacks and baked goods. But why exactly are trans fats a concern when it comes to cancer risk? Trans fats are created through an industrial process that adds hydrogen to liquid vegetable oils, making them more solid. This process, known as hydrogenation, is used to extend the shelf life of foods and give them a desirable texture. However, the downside to trans fats is significant. Numerous studies have linked them to an increased risk of various health issues, including heart disease, inflammation, and yes, cancer. When it comes to cancer, particularly breast cancer, the evidence is especially concerning. For instance, a study published in the journal BMJ found that higher intakes of trans fats were associated with an increased risk of breast cancer among postmenopausal women. So, what can you do to reduce your intake of trans fats and potentially lower your cancer risk? The key is to be mindful of the types of fats you're consuming. Instead of reaching for foods containing trans fats, choose foods rich in healthy fats. These include avocados, which are not only delicious but also packed with heart-healthy monounsaturated fats, and nuts like almonds, walnuts, and cashews, which are great sources of both monounsaturated and polyunsaturated fats. These types of fats are beneficial for your health and are not associated with an increased cancer risk. Another tip is to check food labels when shopping. In many countries, trans fats must be listed on nutritional labels, so you can make informed decisions about what you're eating. Look for terms like partially hydrogenated oils. This is a clear indicator that the product contains trans fats. Number 8. Artificial sweeteners and additives. Common examples include aspartame, commonly used in diet sodas, and MSG, monosodium glutamate, a flavor enhancer used in various processed and packaged foods. While they're popular for adding sweetness or enhancing flavor without extra calories, there's a growing debate about their long-term impact on health, including cancer risk. Let's tackle aspartame first. Found in many diet or sugar-free products, aspartame has been a subject of controversy for years. Some studies have raised concerns about its potential carcinogenic effects, but the results are not conclusive. For example, a study by the Ramini Institute in Italy suggested a possible link to cancer, but these findings have been disputed by other experts and health authorities due to methodological concerns. Moving on to MSG, this flavor enhancer is commonly associated with Asian cuisines but is also widespread in processed snacks, soups, and ready meals. The debate around MSG in cancer is less pronounced than with aspartame, but it's still a subject of scrutiny. Some animal studies have suggested potential harmful effects, but there is no clear evidence linking MSG to cancer in humans. Given this uncertainty, you might be wondering, should I avoid these substances altogether? While the direct link between these additives and cancer remains a gray area, adopting a better safe than sorry approach can be wise. This doesn't mean you have to give up on sweet flavors or tasty foods. There are plenty of natural alternatives that can be used without the potential risks. For sweetness, Consider natural sweeteners like stevia, honey, or maple syrup. These options can satisfy your sweet tooth without the added chemicals. For enhancing flavor, turn to the world of spices and herbs. Natural spices can provide a depth of flavor that often surpasses that of artificial additives. For example, turmeric, ginger, and cinnamon are not only flavorful but also come with their own health benefits. Moving on to number 9, we delve into a group of foods that are often hard to resist: highly salted, pickled, or smoked foods. There's no denying their appeal. These foods pack a punch in terms of flavor and can be a real treat for your taste buds. However, when it comes to your health, particularly your cancer risk, they may not be the best choice. Let's break down why. Firstly, these foods are typically high in salt. While salt is essential for your body in small amounts, excessive salt intake is a different story. High salt levels have been linked to an increased risk of certain types of cancer, particularly stomach cancer. The World Health Organization has highlighted the risks associated with high salt intake, and reducing salt consumption is a recommended strategy for cancer prevention. But it's not just the salt. Many of these foods also contain preservatives like nitrates and nitrites, which help them stay fresh longer. These preservatives, when consumed in large amounts, can form compounds in the body that are potentially carcinogenic. Smoked foods additionally contain polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, PAHs, which form during the smoking process and have been linked to an increased risk of cancer. So, what are the alternatives? Luckily, there are plenty of ways to enjoy similar flavors without the added risk. For starters, try using fresh or frozen vegetables. They are not only healthier but can be seasoned and prepared in a variety of delicious ways. If you're a fan of pickled foods, consider making your own at home. Homemade pickles can be made with less salt, and you have complete control over the ingredients used, ensuring they're free from harmful preservatives. Another tip is to experiment with herbs and spices. Many spices can mimic the flavor that you get from high salt or smoked foods without the health risks. For instance, using smoked paprika can give you that smoky flavor without needing to actually smoke the food. Number 10. Foods stored in plastic containers with BPA. Now, you might be wondering, why are we talking about containers in a conversation about diet and cancer? Well, it turns out that the containers you store your food in can be just as important as the food itself. BPA, or bisphenol A, is a chemical commonly found in many plastic products, including food containers and water bottles. The trouble with BPA is that it can leach into the food or beverages stored in these containers, especially when they're heated or scratched. This is concerning because BPA is known as an endocrine disruptor. This means it can mimic your body's hormones, particularly estrogen, and potentially disrupt your body's normal hormonal functions. You might think, okay, but how does this relate to cancer? Well, here's the deal: hormones, especially estrogen, play a significant role in the development and growth of certain types of cancer, such as breast and prostate cancer. By disrupting normal hormone levels, BPA can potentially increase the risk of such cancers. The World Health Organization and other health bodies have expressed concerns about BPA's potential health effects, though more research is needed to fully understand its impact. However, when it comes to your health, it's better to be safe than sorry. So, what can you do? A better choice is to store your food in glass or BPA-free plastic containers. Glass is non-reactive and doesn't release any chemicals into your food, making it a safe and sustainable option. If you prefer plastic, look for BPA-free labels. These containers are made without bisphenol A and are a safer alternative for food storage. By making this simple switch, you're not just keeping your hormones in a happier balance, you're also taking a proactive step in reducing your potential cancer risk. Plus, it's a move that's good for the environment too. And just like that, we've reached the end of today's deep dive into the everyday foods and habits that could be influencing your long-term health more than you realize. Remember, this isn't about cutting everything out or chasing perfection. It's about taking steady, thoughtful steps toward a healthier future. Even one small change today can create a ripple effect that transforms your tomorrow. Choosing real, nourishing food, moving your body, and being proactive with your health isn't just a routine, it's a form of self-respect. Your body is always working for you, so why not give it the support it needs? Now we'd love to hear from you. Which of these tips surprised you the most? Have you made any of these changes already, or are there others you swear by? Drop your thoughts, questions, or even your favorite healthy swaps in the comments. We're all in this together, learning and growing one choice at a time. If you found this video helpful, please take a second to hit that like button, share it with someone who needs to hear this today, and subscribe to our channel for more down-to-earth, science-backed tips on how to live well every single day. Thanks so much for watching. Keep listening to your body, fueling it with care, and showing up for yourself. Until next time, stay healthy, stay hopeful, and we'll see you in the next video.